Hey there, welcome back to the lab. I'm Daddy Clay.
And I'm Daddy Brad. Come right back and we'll show you the proper way to throw a hissy fit.
Today's episode on tantrums, meltdowns, and hissy fits is brought to you by Baby Bjorn. While they're small enough to fit in one of these Baby Bjorns, enjoy it.
Before we offer parents tips about how to handle a meltdown, just to show we're not biased, we're going to teach your kids how to throw one.
Sometimes getting a good ROI on your hissy fit's all about market timing. You may want to consider delaying the onset of your meltdown until Dad is on his iPhone using his office voice. Daddy Brad, I've got something important to tell you.
Location, location, location. Only a rookie throws a fit on the kitchen floor. And remember that parents are secondary targets. What you're trying to do is draw a crowd. That's why public areas and high traffic places like airplanes and grocery store aisles are best.
Consider throwing a snot slinger. Long green snot tusks are ideal for a top-notch tantrum. Also consider a full mouth. A half-chewed Oreo cookie can really be a winner. Get gross to get what you want.
Finally, pace yourself. Don't over tantrum. If you throw more than one good floor flinger a day, your parents may develop a resistance to your fits. But don't let them rest too long. Because if they can bring you into a restaurant and they're not terrified that you're going to cause a huge scene, well, you're just not flipping out enough.
On a slightly more serious note, we asked early parenting coach Dr. Carrie Conti to give us some advice on managing and limiting temper tantrums.
The way development works is that the child's going along and they're using all their skills, and then something in them says, oh, wow, we've mastered that, we've got to learn something new. In that I'm ready to make a leap, there's going to be some regression and there's going to be a lot of emotion because the ability to build those neural structures causes a huge amount of frustration. You can do some things right before the tantrum starts, at least you can try. So connection is really the key. So you want to see if you can make eye contact. If you can't make eye contact with a child, you don't want to force it because it just means they're really stressed. And so you could say, hey, let me look at your eyes, or what color are my eyes? And if they look, that's gonna help them get back to that human place and it's gonna slow them down. The other thing is you can play. So if they're saying, no, I don't wanna get my clothes on, and your reaction might be, oh no, you're gonna get your clothes on, you might actually try your hardest to click into a play response and say, boo, you don't wanna get your clothes on, ah, what are we gonna do? And you can start spinning around the room and making yourself fall on the floor and just try to play with them. You can't always let it happen because time requirements or they're not in the appropriate place. But if your kid over the couple of days is just always falling off the cliff and going toward a tantrum, you're better off letting them have it and really going over than trying to do fancy footwork and trying to redirect and trying to make sure they don't. Because eventually the pot's gonna boil so much that you're better off just pulling the lid off and letting the steam dissipate than trying to hold the lid on it over and over and over again.
Well, Carrie's got some good points, but when your kid is flopping around on the floor of the Chick-fil-A like a freaking catfish, it's hard to keep your cool.
Yeah, I know, but you have to, because getting all ticked off at a kid for throwing a hissy fit's a little bit like spanking them for hitting.
Yeah, but I think it affects the first-time parents more, because I've got like 3 kids, and I don't care. I don't hear it anymore.
Yeah, first-time parents are definitely afflicted more than anybody. And I want to say this to you, first-time parent, if I'm there and your kid's throwing a hissy fit, I'm not judging you, I'm just trying not to laugh. Because I find other parents, kids, hissy fits hilarious.
Oh yeah, when your kid is throwing that hissy fit in public, it's a good test about how much you care about what other people think of you.
Yeah, and it's one of those moments where you have to just tell the world to go to hell, and even if some oldster comes over and gives you the
you need to teach your kids how to behave in a restaurant
comment, which they'll do, the oldsters. You just gotta take a breath, focus on your kid and yourself, and don't worry about that.
Well, thanks Baby Bjorn, our sponsor. You know what? If your in-laws gave you some crappy travel crib from a company other than Baby Bjorn, maybe you should throw a hissy fit.
It's a good idea. Yeah. You know what? Join our conversation about mitigating hissy fits at DadLabs.com. We want to see you there for sure. And that's all we've got time for this week here on DadLabs. Get gross to get what you want.
Oh, God. Wait. Oh, ow. Crap.
Dude.